Hello, and welcome to Chaotic Creatives, the show about embracing the chaos that comes from living a creative life.
We're your hosts, two self-proclaimed chaotic creative gals. I'm Rachael Renee. I'm an artist, creativity coach, internet hype gal, and author.
Ooh, and I am Lauren Hom, better known as Hom Sweet Hom on the internet. I am a designer, lettering artist, muralist, and chef. And welcome.
Welcome. We are chatting about being chaotic creatives today.
Truly, this is us in our element.
Absolutely.
Today, we are talking about the chaos of overcommitting.
Yeah.
Biting off more than you can chew. Taking too much on your plate.
The chaotic creative method.
Yeah. The chaotic creative way.
Yeah. So in previous episodes, we mentioned that we taught a workshop together, the Marshall's workshop, which was awesome. And so Lauren was in town for that. And we happened, I wasn't quite moved back to Detroit yet. And so once we booked that, I also booked a ceramics workshop that I taught the weekend before. And so I had to be back for that ceramics workshop weekend. And then that week leading up to the Marshall's workshop, you arrived. Plus I was trying to see all of the friends that I hadn't seen in 4 months.
Out of town for a while.
Yeah, I was living up north for 4 months to caretake for my dad. And then my mom had knee surgery after my dad passed away. So it was just I was up there for a long time. And so I was I felt this urgency to be I'm back. Let me see everybody. So it was planning for a workshop, seeing all my friends, finishing planning and prepping for our Marshall's workshop, which is a very big deal.
Yeah, we taught 60 people.
Yeah. And we had to bring supplies. And then after the Marshall's workshop, or the day that we taught it, the day before maybe.
Overlapping, basically.
Yeah. I also had someone I was dating coming to visit my house for the first time.
And it was their birthday.
And so it was I wanted it to be special. I wanted my house to be clean. I wanted to create a fun experience. I wanted to make a birthday cake. I was making a quilt as a birthday gift. So I needed to finish the quilt, make the cake, clean the house, prep for this workshop, see my friends, try to do other work. You came in on Wednesday, so I was hosting you as well. And I was just extremely overwhelmed, way overcommitted. And I know that I do this. And this is why I've talked about in past seasons.
Do it.
Yeah. It's truly it's the eyes are bigger than the stomach in the project sense, but also I do it in the life sense. It's I'm so committed to living this big, juicy life that I'm I can do everything.
Yeah.
And you were I can help you. And you were give me tasks.
Yeah.
And I was Lauren, thank you so much for understanding and not be you could have easily been upset. Hey, I'm staying here and you are busy.
How dare you?
How dare you not be ready to host me or put me to work, whatever. And you are absolutely not like that. I mean, when we stay at each other's houses, it's just we treat it as home.
I would say that you are one of the only people who, when you say make yourself at home and I say make yourself at home, to the other, it actually feels like I feel comfortable doing that in your house.
Good. Yeah. This
and I hope you do in mine.
I absolutely do. Yeah. This morning, Lauren got her own breakfast. I didn't make the breakfast for us and we didn't sit down and eat together, which is what I would do if the person I was dating, we did that every day. But it's just we truly make ourselves at home at each other's places, which is a lovely friendship. But we wanted to talk about this because as we were sort of parallel playing, Lauren was.
This is the night before the workshop. I'm prepping collage materials, cutting out shapes and organizing papers. Rachael is finishing the quilt on the other side of the room. And we're kind of doing a run of show, talking through the workshop while simultaneously brainstorming ideas for season 4 of this podcast.
Yeah. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
We could have easily just sat and talked through the workshop, but we're efficiency demons.
Yeah.
We are getting all the things done. And we did. I finished the quilt. You finished punching out all the collage materials. We got prepped for that. And then, we came up with 5 or 6 episode ideas. I feel we're starting to finally treat the podcast more let's do a little more prep. So it's not just totally rambling and Kristle has a lot of work to do with the editing. Yeah. So it was great. And I think like one of the things that we talked about was like, it's so helpful to have other chaotic creatives in your life who like get it and aren't upset and are willing to like hop in and help you get shit done.
Yeah, it was like a win-win. Like I basically told Rachael, I was like, it was very much like put me in coach energy where I was like, how can I help you? Like, and you were like, you had your like list of things to do. And you were like, I don't feel comfortable with you like scrubbing my floors, but like, what would be fun for you? And I was like, let me bake the cake. Like, let me use my skills that I like to use. This kind of ties into the secret menu.
Yeah.
Like, let me do stuff that's fun for me and maybe not fun for you. Cause I know that like baking is like not your forte. You can do it.
I can do it, but I would have done it inefficiently. Like I couldn't multitask. Like I feel like you're so comfortable with baking that you were like, I'm going to get this going and then I can do this other thing. Like you helped me make an airport sign that like was not a necessary thing. Like we could have absolutely ditched that. And that's something that's interesting too in these moments of like overwhelm, overcommitment, like you got to cut things.
Yes.
And I definitely like had to cancel plans with some friends being like, I cannot believe I scheduled something the night before I'm teaching this workshop. Like I can't do this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the airport sign felt fun and important to me in terms of like making an experience wonderful.
Yeah. And it took us all of 30 minutes. It wasn't too much, but you do have to like, without being like super like what makes the cut is only like what's absolutely necessary. Like you kind of go off of feel based on like what is going to be the most fun to do and also like what's the heaviest lift.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like, being able to be like, will you make the cake? And like knowing that you're comfortable digging around in my kitchen, you found everything you needed. And I was able to just be like, all right, I'm going to go do this really quick and like knock this out. And yeah, I'm so grateful that you were here because you made the cake, you helped me make the sign. We were able to kind of like prep for our workshop, which went so well. It was really, wow. I don't ever want to feel that way again because it was very overwhelming and it was hard to kind of like release that and enter into like, okay, now I'm having fun.
Of course. And I think we wanted to talk about this too because the example that you just gave of like you being out of town basically for 4 months and then coming back to do all these things is maybe the most extreme example of what happens in a lot of our like regular day-to-day lives where a lot of good things are happening all at once. And it's the chaotic creative way to overbook even when it's all good stuff. And when you have so many ideas, but you don't know which one to choose, we talked about that in a previous season. Like, even though these are all good, exciting things, and you're kind of like riding high off of the momentum of like idea, like people, like conversation, you do have to like stop yourself at some point and realize that like I am but one person with this much capacity.
Yeah.
And there's a point where it's not helpful anymore. Like you almost reach for lack of a better term, like it's like satiation or full. What's the word? It's like a weird satiety.
I don't know.
What's the word? Kristle, what's the word?
Satiated is right.
Satiation is definitely not a word.
Satiated, though, is a word.
Yes, but there's a word in between. It's like satiety or something. I could have oh my God. God, if my dad listens to this, he's going to fucking murder me.
Lauren, you spelled this word correctly in your 3rd grade spelling bee. You should know.
Sworn.
I have no idea.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is you do reach a point of saturation or like fullness.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
See? Kristel's nodding right now.
What is it? Satiety?
Press the button. Do the pronunciation in the robot voice.
Satiety.
Wow, it is satiety.
Okay,
wow.
Well, I just learned that.
I just pulled that out of like the depths of like my 12-year-old.
Isn't it interesting how obviously I've heard the word satiated so many times when talking about like food or whatever, but I've literally never heard that word. It's funny how like in some parts of society, not satiety. That sounds insane to say those words together.
I know.
Like we just only use kind of one form of the word.
Yeah, like I feel more comfortable using a non-existent word, satiation. and satiety.
But then if we use satiation enough, eventually it would become part of the
That is true. This is side quest. A really beautiful thing about language, which is where like language purists really like can miss me with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Words that exist now that we accept did not exist like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Like refrigerator did not exist to people hundreds of years ago.
True.
And now it's just a thing. We say fridge now.
Yeah.
And so language is just this constantly, it's like a group project. It's constantly evolving based on culture and society. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I just read a novel called The Wedding People. And in it, the main character is like a literature professor or something. And like, I mean, it was just like a pretty, it was kind of a heavy topic, but like ultimately a lighthearted, easy read, entertainment read. And she, in the book, like her character is talking about that because like she's talking with a teenager and the teenager's like using some language. And then the like older people are trying to correct the teenager's language. And then this literature professor is like, actually, like when it becomes like part of the like regular speech, like it ultimately will be added to the dictionary.
It's
in like
become
10
absorbed
years.
by the culture.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you personally accept it. Like the culture has now accepted it.
Purists miss us with that shit. We're making up words here. Chaotic, creative, the way.
Stop trying to make satiation happen.
Stop trying to make satiety happen. Like, I feel like I'm just saying society wrong. Satiety.
I'm going to try to incorporate it into every single episode for the rest of this season.
Great. I love that.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, I feel like, there is a level of like fullness or satiety that we reached. And especially I didn't account for coming from it was such a shift.
Yeah.
Because I was living a very slow and like not that social life where like I was seeing my family and extended family and people, you know, but to go from that to like being back in chaos mode of like, I can do 10 things in a day. No, you can't. You were living a very slow, and I was grieving. I mean, I still am actively grieving. Like that process doesn't just stop when you're like back in your home. And so it was like that. And then also the looming, I mean, it was exciting to have, you know, my date here, but also the looming like plans that we had because we also immediately after the workshop was done, we dropped you off at the grocery store. And then Lauren, like,
where I live,
Lauren's home, Pantry Princess. And then I was like, okay, now I'm on date week. 9 days.
Yeah, we went back to back. Like you had back to back overlapping commitments where like one domino fell into the other, basically. Yeah. You were like a Rube Goldberg machine of plans.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And boy, this ball was tired when she reached the end of that trip. Damn.
Yeah.
Because again, it was all good, but it was like being on. It was like, you know.
Yes.
I could have asked my date or you. I mean, I felt comfortable enough with all of the people that I was interacting with to be like, I just need to like have some, you know, phone time or like
alone time,
lie down,
decompression time.
Yeah.
This reminds me of what we were talking about right before we started recording of how when you're managing, we were talking about managing multiple types of relationships within like the same people. So like you and I started as friends and then became like creative collaborators. And it's like we were talking about like when you get too friendly with like a like even like a colleague or like a mentor or a coach or teacher, it changes the dynamic because now you're like wondering if they like you as a friend, not just as a professional colleague. And it's not that these things can't exist at the same time, but you're doing two things at once. So it actually can be a little bit draining because you're worried about how they're perceiving you in multiple ways now. So you were jumping from friend mode to professional workshop mode to then like dating mode. So you were like switching modes too. So that probably drained you as well. And it reminds me of something, I might have said this in a previous season. I can't remember, but one thing I like to remind myself of is, even though I'm a black coffee drinker through and through, whenever I go to a coffee shop and they ask if I want room for milk, I always say no. But in life, it's a good like metaphor to leave room for milk in your schedule where you don't want to book yourself to 100% capacity because inevitably life's going to throw a little extra something, or you just have a little breathing room. You want a little wiggle room.
Yeah. And I think like what I've experienced in the last year or two is that I do this. This is a habit for me, a chaotic creative habit of like, when I'm in a good headspace, I book all the things and I'm like, surely I'll handle this because I'll be in a good headspace. But a lot of times I'm not. I mean, like, especially navigating grief and overwhelm and frustration. Like overwhelm is probably my most experienced emotion or state of being. And like, on previous seasons, I've talked about like creating a structure for myself where it's like I don't make social plans on these days because I need to have those days open for me to do my own personal projects or for me to rest. Because when I'm overbooking myself like that, I don't actually have time for the things that really light me up.
Yeah.
And so this state of overwhelm happens, and then it's harder to like, I'm not functioning at 100%.
Yes. You also don't have time to say yes to any spontaneous like things that come up.
Yeah.
If you're booked like back to back. And I think this also ties into like our like efficiency demon tendencies, where I think especially for
ED.
Are you struggling with ED?
The efficiency demon inside your head?
Is your ED out of control? Early onset ED. Okay, getting back on track. Sorry, Kristle.
So efficiency demon.
Okay. Especially for anyone who struggles with depression or like has highs and lows, I think it's tempting when you are, because you know the lows, when you're feeling good, you want to jam it all in because you're like, this is my window. And that is so rational.
Totally.
But you also have to know too that like you can kind of do like a horseshoe thing where you overwhelm yourself back into a depressive episode.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where I'm at. It's like, especially with all of the change that I've experienced in the last year, like navigating instead of like doing so much, like do it all. Like I had the urge. Okay, so that happened in August of 2025, right? Yeah. And so then like I spent the next 9 days with my date, and then I came home and I was like, oh my God, I can't, like, I had a great time doing all of those things for like 3 weeks in a row where I was just like constantly on. But now I'm home. Okay, what does this feel like? And then I was like, I have to plan my birthday party. And so then I planned the soup gala experience. And then it was like building up to that. And then I think the chaotic creative inside of me was like, okay, now you don't have anything scheduled in October. So like plan a trip to LA. And so I like texted all my LA friends and I was like, when are you free? And then some of them were only free in the first half. Some were free in the second. So I was like, do I do 2 weeks in LA so I can hit all the friends? And then I was like, bitch, don't go to LA. Be at home. Rest. You're depressed. And so thankfully I like, recognize that about myself because it's like because I am in such a state or was in such a state of kind of like plan all the things. I was like, well, I'll keep going with that pattern.
Yeah.
And then actually I do need to rest. And so, yeah, not planning the LA trip was like the first time from the summer of 2025 where I was like, okay, we're taking a break because rest creates space for creativity. And I think especially as I was approaching, creating this community of other chaotic creatives, I knew that I wanted to commit to these practices, but in order to commit to these art practices for myself and to show up and be accountable in this community space, I had to not overbook myself.
Yeah.
And so it's a constant that I'm always struggling with. And I think other chaotic creatives can relate to that where it's eyes are bigger than your stomach. in so many
100%.
capacities.
Yeah. And I think like we wanted to talk about just, obviously we can only speak from personal experience, but because so many of us struggle with this, like there are a couple like ways we've figured out how to manage it, because again, the show is about embracing this, not pretending like we don't have these tendencies.
Totally.
And so knowing that we always like our tendency is going to be to overbook, to like bite off a little bit more than we can chew.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like something that we've talked about so much this season and just in general is coming up with like systems for yourself where, like you said, you make two days a week, you can have social plans and then you kind of leave the rest open.
Yeah.
You can also, we've done things like when we're doing the chaos weekend, it's like, okay, here are the 3 things that absolutely must get done.
Yep.
And then here are our stretch goals. These are the like nice to haves.
I like that you call them stretch goals. Yeah, because truly it is that. It's like, okay, the cake is actually in the oven and like we don't have enough time to do another thing. So let's do the sign. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think definitely the systems. And that's why I created this community to have of structure for an entire year for myself. But then also having other chaotic creatives in your life. Like if you had been like another friend who was not familiar with how my brain works, which most of my friends are now and are like willing to be like, how can I help? Yeah. I feel like it wouldn't have gotten done, or I would have felt more overwhelmed because I would have had to balance. But because I'm so comfortable with you, I was like, hey, do this. And you're like, I'm on it. And so I feel like another level is just like having the support system and people 100%. Who understand you and are willing to see your chaotic creative and balance it out.
Yeah, there's also a difference too between like, and I'm again, people who like love you and like want to support you. I'm thinking about the difference between someone who, let's say you're cooking dinner and they're like, how can I help? Tell me what to do. And now you have a sous chef who you're instructing, which is still helpful. It's fine. It's good. But if you have someone who knows your kitchen, knows what to do, and can just kind of jump in because they themselves already cook and are kind of like on that journey alongside you, like on their own anyways. Yeah. It's nice and it's like so seamless.
Yeah. One of my friends who is a builder said to me that one of his clients, he was like pitching a project, and one of his clients was like, you know, if you give me like instruction, like I'm happy to do some labor and like work with you on the project if that like cuts any, you know, cost off of it. And he was like, that would actually add more cost because not only am I now building, I'm also instructing and managing you. Yeah. So that's making more work for me. So I would charge you more if you wanted to help on this labor, which I think is so, it's like such a good, that was such a easy concept to understand because like what you're saying, you now have a sous chef that you're teaching and instructing what to do.
Now you have a tiny employee.
Yeah. And so now you made more work for yourself, even though that person is trying to help. And so in some cases we love that. Like it's a bonding experience to cook together, to learn together. Sure. But in the state that I was in, I needed someone to step up and just take things off my plate and just know that I could trust you to do it. Yeah. And like 1000% you're going to make a more beautiful and more delicious birthday cake than I could. So, and it was great.
Probably.
And I ate it every single day.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Katie for the recipe.
Yeah. Well, and so Katie, my friend Katie used to be a professional baker. And so like, I always ask her to bake cakes and stuff, but I also don't want to like over ask and take advantage of my friend. So I was like, can you send me a recipe? I'll make the cake. You don't have to do it. Because she was also in her own chaotic creative overwhelm of like a multi-week trip with lots of things, making glass, doing tattoo convention, doing all these things. And I was like, hey, is this bad that I saw on Pinterest? Some professional baker was like, here's the thing. You can use a box mix and like sub this, and this, and it'll zhuzh it up. And like, she was like, you can absolutely do that. And that's what we did. And it tasted great.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was basically just like adding a lot more fat to a box.
Like real butter, real milk. Yeah. Instead of just oil and maybe you added
I think it was like more
egg.
eggs, more butter.
Yeah.
Cream instead of milk.
Yeah.
Which
was great.
Whoa, more fat tastes better? What?
It's great. This episode is brought to you by us asking you to hire us to teach a workshop or do a speaking engagement.
You've heard us talk about this season teaching workshops together for brands and on our own, and we are actively looking to do more of that this year.
Yeah, so if you do programming for your corporate job or you work for an organization that does programming, we would love for you to reach out to us and get something scheduled. We're happy to travel. We really love doing this work together and are excited to hear your idea.
You can reach out to us at chaoticcreativespodcast@gmail.com.
Okay, now back to the show. Yeah, so having the community, having the structures.
Yes.
Or the systems.
Ooh, we also talked about getting more comfortable with like communicating like, hey, I'm so sorry. I overbooked myself. My bad. Can we reschedule?
Yeah.
And like knowing that you're going to have to do that sometimes versus like strong arming through way too many things.
Yeah.
And like burning yourself out.
One of my friends, Nairi, once told me, because she lives in Chicago. And when we first became friends, it was because like when I first moved to Detroit, so like over a decade ago, I made friends with people who were friends with someone I went to college with. Like I was introduced to a group of friends and I like became part of the friend group. And she was friends with them through like the music scene. This is a side quest.
Nice.
And
we're back.
We're back, baby. It took us 4.5 episodes, but the side quests are here. And so Nairi would only come in occasionally, but she was so nice and cool. And I was like, I want to be friends with her. And so like I would talk to her anytime we were hanging out. And then I talked to her about comic books. And I remember being like, I'm going to bring you some comic books and I'm going to use this as an excuse to become better friends with you. I literally said that to her and it worked. And we started visiting each other and doing like food friendship weekends. We were both vegan at the time. And I remember one time I had scheduled a trip to go see her. And I was feeling really overwhelmed. I think it was maybe like when I was doing stationery stuff. So maybe had a craft fair and was like trying to squeeze it in and feeling obligated. And she was like, hey, friendship shouldn't be hard. Like, it's okay. I know this has nothing to do with me. Cancel it. It's okay. We'll see each other again. Like, and it was the first time that someone was like, I still love you, even if you're not committing to this thing. Yeah. And it helped me realize that, oh, I do this a lot. And then like, I'm not showing up as good for my friends if I'm like overwhelmed or overstimulated. And so I think that is absolutely something that we should practice and get comfortable doing, being like, I don't have the capacity for this right now. Sometimes we have to push past capacity and it's like the inconvenience is the price you pay for community. We've talked about that. And it's like, yeah, maybe I don't want to go to Rachael's soup gala party, but like I want to celebrate my friend and it's her birthday. So like maybe I'm tired, maybe I overcommitted, but like I'm going to show up for a little bit. Maybe some people felt that way, but nobody canceled, you know? And I felt loved and supported at the birthday party. But I think for me, I now feel comfortable canceling, but I don't want to do it too much. I don't want to continue this bad habit of overcommitting and then my friends make time for me and then I'm canceling on them so frequently because I'm overwhelmed.
Totally. It's like, I think getting comfortable, like communicating like, oh, overcommitted, my bad. And then like the next level is getting comfortable or realizing like, ooh, I'm going to say no ahead of time because I know I don't want to overbook myself, but like, let's plan further out in advance.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I'm noticing myself doing is like, I'm trying to practice not giving excuses. Like instead of saying, Lauren's in town and we're filming the podcast and like, I also have this to do. I'm just like, I'm not available that week. How about the next week?
Yep.
And that's okay.
Yep.
We're all unavailable for many reasons all the time. And so it's like realizing that even if you don't have something going on and it's like, no, I'm building rest in because I started my period and I know I'm depressed or low energy or whatever. Being comfortable. It's such a practice. I mean, like we're in our mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's still something that I'm navigating with just like feeling like I'm either burdening or inconveniencing people. I mean, that's my own shit, but practicing not doing that.
I mean, there's so much wrapped up in it too of like, brain chaos and then like
I like that brain chaos.
Maximize-y tendencies of it's like, there's so many jokes out there about our generation and younger just like filling every single waking moment with like media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't take my phone to the bathroom anymore. I try not to, at least.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do I really need to like watch a reel while I take a shit? No.
Right.
No, I don't. But like, I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm missing out on some like good tips.
That's when your ED comes out and you're like, I can do two things at once.
Yeah, like, am I really going to like respond to an email on the toilet?
No.
No.
Don't be sitting on the toilet longer than you need to. That causes hemorrhoids.
That is true.
One of
That
the
is
causes.
very true. My mom did tell me that growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get it. And
welcome to the shit talk part of this.
Oh, God.
Literally.
New segment.
I actually would love if like we had a shit talk segment and people thought that we were just like gonna be talking shit about people, but we literally were just talking about shit.
I'm pretty sure we'd see a huge drop off in listeners at a certain point.
Or would we?
That's true. Very, very true. Yeah, so I think to wrap it all up too, I mean, I know that we talked about like a big thing to like help to manage the overwhelm is having creative communities to support you. Do you want to talk about your juice box?
Yes, I would love to talk about the juice box.
Since we need to wrap it up soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for letting me
of course.
talk about it. Yeah. So at the time that this episode releases, it'll be about time for the juice box to be open for enrollment again, which I'm really excited about. So basically, I haven't talked about its structure, I guess, on the podcast in detail, but to summarize, what I wanted to do for myself is create this scaffolding of like, I want to commit to this artistic practice, which I talked about, I think, in episode 2. And I want to have a structure to follow, to fall back on. So it's like, I know that each week I'm approaching it in this way, and this is how I'm committing to my creative practice, my version of play. And so I created this community, the Juice Box. I solicited feedback from Instagram and my newsletter folks to be like, what should we call it? I was going to call it the Big Juicy Play Space because like my whole messaging is about prioritizing play and living a big juicy life. And other people were like, the Juice Box. And that felt fun for like merch and drawing little Juice Box icons. So we went with that. And I say we, I mean me and the community. And so basically each quarter or each season of 2026, I'm committing to a different version of my play. So ceramics, quilting, paper mache, and painting are the 4 that I wanted to focus on. That doesn't mean I can't do other forms of play, you know, chaotic creative style.
But that's just like the priority.
The priority, yeah. So when it's like, I don't know what to work on, I will be like, actually, what can I do to progress this practice that I want to commit to? This is something that I care about a lot. And I wanted to, one of the things that I found about myself is like needing creative community, whether that's in person, but also like me sharing my style on the internet is how I committed to like understanding and developing my personal style, because I committed to this practice of sharing my outfits, and I love holding myself accountable in that way. So I was like, I love this internet community. I'm going to show up in this way and create structures for other people to benefit from prioritizing their play. And so that could be like people focusing on friendship. There's someone in the community that's focusing on writing. There's someone that like used to not call themselves an artist and they're a painter now. And so it's like when we prioritize our play, we're working on really giving ourselves permission to chase the lives that we want to live. And so I've structured it in this quarterly way. So some folks signed up for the whole year. But now, as we are in the 3rd month of the year, I'm opening it back up to start for the 2nd season. So each person picks their own version of play for a season, whether they join for just the season or the entire time. And there are all kinds of different resources. Like there's a side quests tab where it's like, hey, are you feeling creatively blocked related to your play? Like do some of these things, make a playlist. There's connection where people can like connect with each other if they're like in the same city. There are guest like lecturers where I do webinars where like other people like you who are living their big juicy lives come and talk about their lives and their paths or their version of play or whatever they want. I just want to give people lots of examples of like lots of people are doing this. And sometimes if you're like me, you grew up in a rural area, you didn't see people living outside of the societal norms. And so it's just like giving people a platform and a place where we can hold each other accountable. And then there is a structure of like, you know, we're going to reflect. Did you enjoy this play for this month? Like, one thing that I love to do is try different creative outlets or versions of play, and trying it is how we learn if we don't like something too. Like I talked about my friend Katie and her glass stuff. Like we took stained glass class together, and I bought all the shit because I'm a gear gal. And I was like, I got it home and I did it. And I was like, I actually hate this. I just really liked hanging out with my friends and like yapping while doing a project. And so that was really good information because now I know stained glass isn't my thing. So thank you for letting me talk about this. There's obviously more information at rachelrenee.com.
We'll link it in the show notes. But yeah, so enrollment is open for April for the Juice Box. And if you want to commit to your play practice, it can be creative or otherwise. It can be, you know, like you want to commit to being a better golfer, or you want to commit to being a better friend. Like there are friendship resources. There's so many ways to live a big, juicy life, but we have to figure out what things fulfill us the most. And then, like you said, like there's goals and stretch goals. Like, what are we committing to? And then, like, do we want to try some other things? I think the key to living a fulfilling life is just being curious and trying different things and like constantly evaluating, like, am I happy in this situation? And we're going to talk about in a later episode, kind of that evaluation process, like one of them that I'm going through. So yeah, join us in the Juice Box. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, stick that straw in.
Stick that straw in. Yes.
Slurp it up.
Yeah.
Is that the tagline?
Slurp it up. Yeah. Suck on that big juicy life. This is a gross episode.
This really is a gross episode.
But I love it. We just need to finish our coffee. Or maybe we don't. Maybe it's like a little bit tired, a little bit slap happy, gets the grossness to come out.
I have no idea. We're doing a great job, though, with Power Hour, podcast Power Hour.
Yeah. Yeah. You've probably noticed that, like, this is episode 5.
Yeah.
And we have not hit an hour because we're trying to access those ED efficiency demons.
Well, I wanted to make a note on that with the efficiency demon. Like, I think that, again, social media makes us speak in imperatives, but efficiency for efficiency's sake is stupid.
Yeah.
I think being efficient in service of saving time to do other things you love, or in service of being cognizant of Kristle's time and energy.
Yeah.
Like, or if it's in service of something greater, I think that it makes sense to like not make the process like more streamlined. And like, as we've been doing this podcast is a passion project of sorts. Yeah. Like, and we've been figuring it out in real time. Like, we're very much like slapping this together. We didn't take like a podcasting course, and like, that's been fun for us.
Yeah.
I think part of what I love about passion projects is you get to learn as you go and figure it out yourself and do it in your own little weird way.
Yeah.
And this, I think in the last couple months, I feel like we've really kind of nailed down a process, and it's felt really good. And I'm really proud of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
I feel like we've tamed a little bit of the chaos and harnessed it in a way that feels like authentic still, but it's making the process like a lot smoother.
Yeah, I think like, I mean, how we used to do the podcast is like, I would come over after work and then
what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. And like, we have plenty that we talk about, but we weren't necessarily doing a good job of like documenting it and then synthesizing the thoughts. And so it was like, we processed it 20 minutes before we recorded, and then we tried to like harness that same thought process, and hopefully it's
which is authentic. But now we're like, I feel like it's almost in service of like us, Kristle, who edits and produces, and then the audience. It's like you're getting a slightly more refined, curated version of like, we've given it another pass.
Yeah.
So.
And I do want to like, in props to the efficiency demon, like I think you and I have texted about the efficiency demon because I think when we're efficient in the things that maybe don't bring us as much joy, like sending emails, doing admin, like those types of things, when we're efficient in doing those things, that creates more space and time for us to do passion projects like the podcast or like our paper mache stuff. And so efficiency demon is like, I'm getting all of these things done so that I have space for the fun, the play.
Yeah. I think part of working on a like passion project too is it's fun to figure out your workflow. Like I always tell my students too, like as you go, you'll figure things out. Like you'll figure out like your process, and it's actually fun to learn like what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and like it's kind of fun unlocking those. Like like we have a Notion going. That's wild.
Oh yeah, I love the Notion. Yeah. Actually, maybe we'll save this for another episode, but like I want to know like what your day to day looks like. Like, do you do emails in the morning? Do you have a consistent habit? Like, we'll talk about it in another episode.
The habits of highly effective people. Is that what we're doing?
Is that?
We should definitely do an episode called like the 7 habits of kind of effective people.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Because we are successful business owners. We have income coming in and can work for ourselves. So we have to have some.
I'm still alive.
We're alive and we're feeding ourselves and housing ourselves in America. So yeah. Yeah. I think that would be funny. 7 habits of kind of effective people.
Oh.
I do like a list. We love a listicle.
Totally. Because it sets expectations. Like for all the shit that people talk about listicles, I understand the format because it helps to, especially for like a neurodivergent brain, like it sets expectations.
Yeah.
That this is what you're going to get.
This is the scaffolding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The scaffolding is getting me through. Okay. We'll do that in another episode.
Yeah.
I know I just plugged the juice box, but also, you know, if you don't want to join the juice box and you still want to support the podcast, you can do the Patreon. Yeah. Or give us a rating, review, send an episode to your pal. Send this episode to your friend with ED, the efficiency demon. I'm going to keep going with that. I really have a visual. I kind of want one of you two who are better illustrators than me to draw an efficiency demon, like a chaotic creative efficiency demon. Like I just imagine that it's like a weird, like blue, like our brand color blue has like fingers that have like each one is a different writing utensil, drawing utensil, paintbrush. It's like I'm painting and I'm writing and also typing an email with my toes. Efficiency demon.
Incredible. Yes.
That's a homework assignment for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting that.
Thank you for listening. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye. Bye.